So again, we're back talking about jazz chords. We're talking about the 13ths, but not only the normal 13ths, but the altered 13ths. Altered 13ths. We've seen this with the 9ths, the 11ths, and now we're going to see it with the 13ths. So we've seen these already. We're going to move on to the 13th. So this is very simple if you've been following along. All you have to do is keep everything in the same fashion. So you're going to take your 7th chord, which is by now probably one of the easier things we've been talking about. You're going to take your 4 notes, again, 1, 3, 5, 7. You're going to throw a 9th on it. It's going to look like this. You're going to throw an 11th on it. It's going to look like this. And you're going to throw your 13th on it. It looks like this. If you're on C, this is what a C 13th looks like. But we talked about this and talked about different kinds of 7ths and all the different good stuff where you have a 7, a dominant 7, you got the minor 7, you got the minor 7, flat 5, all that stuff. But now we're going to see what happens when we touch this note and what that looks like. So we're going to take our C major 7 and we're going to do different things with it. Or C major 7 and then put 9s and 11s and 13s on it and do different things. I'm screwing up my colors, but bear with me and we'll get there. Okay. Maybe I should just write a couple more straight out like this. And again, we got this. I think I can do this in just the 3 of them. And all you're doing when you build these big chords is stacking snowmen. You're building notes on top of notes. Very simple, all in thirds. So right now, these all sound the same, of course. They sound like C, E, G, B, D, F, A. Big old 13th chord. Beautiful. But then you can start doing stuff like altering your 7th. We got the altered here for a reason. You can sharp your 13, you can flat your 13. That's it. that's all we do, right? That's what we've been doing with the 9th and 11th, so why not change that? Or why do something different here? Why bother reinventing new things? So we got this. What would you call these? And we're going to use this because, salmon is our color of altered 13s, apparently. This is our C major 13, right? Because you got your C major here, C major there, and you got 13 on top. I'm going to make the 13 look like a 13 and not a B. You got your C major, sharp 13, sharp 13. And then here you got your C major, flat 13. Super easy, right? That's it. That's it. So again, C major 13. We sharp the 13, your A turns into A sharp. Everything else stays the same. Oops. It's a lot of notes. And you got the same thing, but you flat the 13, so instead of a 13, you flat it. Like that. And that's it. That's how you do these. Now again, you could of course, make all the different variations. So, this is all the major ones, but what if you use a minor 7? What if you flat your 9 and you flat your 13? We'll see this in the next video where we'll see a lot of crazy examples and how to write them and all. But what if you had let's just go dominant. We'll keep it tame. We'll keep it tame here. What do I do yellow first? And salmon. Yay for color coding. Okay, and again, we got our 9. Might as well keep ourselves honest here. 11 and 13, labeled like that. And again, you got your either natural or sharp or flat. These are your options here, right? And this would be your C. And then you can either make a 13, or you could do sharp 13, or you could do flat 13. Because it's a dominant 7, you don't put anything else here, right? It's just a C chord. We already assume if you're going this high, if you're going to go higher than a 7th, or even a 7th. If you go 7 or higher, then it's automatically going to be dominant 7. Dominant 7. Okay. And again, if you want to go further than this, you got your minor 7, you got your minor 7, flat 5, all this good stuff. And I encourage you to make up your own chords. From this video on, make up your own chords. And what will work, what won't work. For the second half of this video, I want to show you some things that will not work. A 13 is the same as A, right? So A is the 6th of your scale degrees. So this, you could talk about this as 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. But your 13 is kind of your 6. Your 1, 3, 5, 7, if you want, your 2 is your 9 is kind of an extended 2. Your 11 is kind of an extended 4. Your 13 is kind of an extended 6, right? Because your 2 is found here in between 1 and 3, and that's a D, and so is this. Same thing here. The F is up here now. It's acting as an 11th, but technically it's the 4th of your scale. And then you got your 13th here, which is technically your 6th right there, right? So they all kind of work out. You just might as well, at this point, other than you want your A kind of on top. You could put the B, C way low, but you kind of want your A on top, but everything else could just fit right there. Now your A sounds kind of funny there, but you could do all this. Let me see if I can do this with... Play everything except the B, the A, and you put the A on top in your melody. Right? But then you're putting that in there, and you get the 13th sound. So, and then all the notes you play, but if you keep going back to that A, it really says, hey, this is a 13th. It's not just a 9th, it's a 13th. Very cool. Or, you keep playing with the ping-ponging there. And you go from the D, right? And you play with all that stuff. So you got your 9. And you keep playing between the 13th and the 11th and the 9th chord right there. You can make beautiful stuff this way. You're just putting notes together, right? You just mash it all together. Do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. But here's the reason why. When you go on the keyboard, right? The whole point of this whole thing is learn what you're doing. Don't just put random notes and say, I don't know, it sounds good. No, this is why it sounds good, right? It fits in the thing. You're using this tool. Right? You're using this. You're not making up stuff. You're not saying, oh, it's just random stuff that sounds good and I just happen to find it. Do the work. Know what you're doing. If you want to change this, you can change it. Make this flat. Make that sharp. Who cares? But know what you're doing. Know where you're coming from. Know where you start. And then you have a place to jump from, right? That's where it gets cool. And you're like, oh, yeah. And then you can communicate this idea to other people. You say, oh, it's like a C13, but you do this and you do that and you change it like this. At least you have a basis to start with, and then it's like, oh, yeah, I like that. Have you tried this? And you have somewhere to start. That's where it gets cool. That's where this is worth it. What I want to show you, though, is, before I get into too many tangents, is what the 13th is. So that's a 6, right? 13 is also, a sharp 13 is also a sharp 6, right? In this case. And a flat 13 is therefore a flat 6, right? And harmonically speaking, we're going to use white for this one. A sharp 6 is a flat 7. A 6 is not really anything else. I mean, that's a double sharp, it's a double sharp 5, and it's also a double flat 7. So that doesn't really matter. You're never really going to see these in the jazz thing. You'll be fine. So putting a 6 is always pretty safe. This one gets really, really weird because, remember, all of our other 7s, other than the major 7, has a flat 7, right? You have, if you take your 7 chords, 1, 3, 5, 7. We're just taking the 7 chords, keeping it simple, keeping it sane. You have a flat 7 on your dominant 7, right? You got your major 7. And then your minor 7 also has flat 3, but you also have flat 7, right? Yeah, there we go. And then your minor 7, which it has minor 7 in the name, has the minor 7, right? Minor 7 flat 5 has the minor 7. Minor 7 flat 5. So you won't really see any of these 3. You will not see any of these 3 with a sharp 6, because that's just a little strange. You have a sharp 6, you have a flat 7. They're kind of the same note. So, you know, maybe over a major 7 you'll have a sharp 13, but not over that. And then here the equivalence is a sharp 5, right? It's just a sharp 5. We'll put it on this side. And sharp 5s are not super common. If you have some kind of augmented chord where you have like your root, I'll put treble clef here to keep this honest. Treble clef again. If you keep this going like this, you got 1, 3, 5, and then you sharp this, and you get some kind of augmented. That's a little strange. So you're not really going to see that. So I don't think you need to worry about that one too much. And that won't really clash with anything you're going to do. But do be aware of this one. If you want to sharp that 13, be careful. If you're going to flat the 13, it's okay. And then finally, as a final note for this whole thing, coming back to this one, people are going to argue, you can get away with it. That's fine. Yes. You can use microtonal music. You can emulate microtonal music. You can make it sound like you're going to go somewhere else and do something else where your sharp 6 and I'm sorry, your sharp 13 and your flat 7 are radically different notes. You have your flat 7, you have your sharp 13. I'll write it up here, I guess, or let's do it down here. You have your flat 7, you have your sharp 13. Your sharp 13 has to function as a sharp 13 and go up to 14 or 7. And then your flat 7 has to function and go down to there. You could argue this and say, I need to have this. Fine, you can do that. If you have a good reason to do that, yes. I'm saying you probably won't see this very often because they are inharmonically equivalent in most popular tuning systems. That is the diatonic / chromatic. I guess not diatonic, chromatic scale of equal temperament, ET, equal temperament. However, you could still emulate this even in equal temperament. If you really had this strong case and you really wanted to move to this, you could technically do it. Again, do what you want, understand where this is coming from, know the rules, and know how to break them, and that's where it starts getting fun. Next time, we're going to see more examples of this and how to look at crazy stuff that looks like, I don't know, C major 9, C major, sharp 13, flat 9, stuff like that. We're going to, or that's not a 9, there's a 9. We're going to see crazy stuff like that and how to do that and not even worry about it. And maybe you put a G sharp or something and still make it work. It'll be fine. And that's where we're going to end the video today. So go out, practice your altered 13th chords, make up your own, play your own on the keyboard, and see how far you get. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great week and stuff. See ya.